firstly, I'd like to thank you for being here with us, and a very warm welcome to everyone, to you and to the participants. So, guys, today we have Indrani Sarkar here with us, who is from SLS Pune, and she's a fresh graduate of 2020. All right. So we'll start with the interview on that note. Indrani, my first question to you would be, could you give us a brief introduction about your institution?
Okay, so it's not one of the national law universities. It's a private international university. I mean, the university is actually under Symbiosis International Deemed University. So there are a multitude of institutes that fall under this university. Symbiosis Law School Pune happens to be one of them.
Okay.
So it's essentially it's a private university. We have, I'm guessing there are a variety of students looking for different kinds of courses.
Yeah.
So there's a 5-year course for BA LLB honors and BBA LLB honors. There's a 3-year LLB course.
Yeah.
There's a 1-year LLM course.
Oh, there's a
And in addition to that, they also offer some certification and diploma courses. So these diploma courses are in, say, European legal. There are 2 diplomas that I know of: European Legal Studies and Asian Legal Studies. So as far as I know, the European Legal Studies diploma, they allow you to take that parallelly along with your LLB or BLLB,
Yeah.
etc. So that's something that you can pursue simultaneously. Besides that, I think there's also a certificate course on some business law around the world, plus corporate laws within India.
So there are multiple certificate courses we can do side by side.
Yeah. So they generally take classes like after normal class hours for these certification courses. So it's very easy for somebody to keep up with both courses.
Okay, so my next question to you would be regarding the location. Like, is it on the outskirts of the city, or is it in the middle of the city? How is it? Is commute possible for students generally?
Geographically, it is on the outskirts of the city. It's actually very, very close to the airport. It's actually like a stone's throw away. Like, I don't think you can walk to the airport. From college, if you walk to airport, it's about 2 minutes at the most.
Okay.
It won't even take you that long. And it is on the outskirts of the city, as in it's away from the old city and the city center. But it's not what you would imagine an outskirts to be. It's still a city. You still have enough establishments around. It's well populated. It's not like one of the NLUs you hear of, which are
on the outskirts, and it is difficult.
Yeah. And you have absolutely nothing around you. It's not like that for sure. It's very much a part of the city.
Very much part of the city, so that students can chill and everything. Okay. My next question would be: is there a criteria for attendance and dress code?
Yes, there is. So they officially they say it's 75% attendance. What I've seen is they are generally a little lax with attendance, but it's a very dicey situation. I mean, in 5 years we haven't been able to hack this. So sometimes, depending on sometimes some semesters they tend to get really strict, and they will make sure that everybody has a 75% attendance limit to let them sit for the exams. So if you don't make the attendance cut for that semester, you're not allowed to sit for your sem-end exams.
That is.
So some semesters they've been really strict, and on most and others they've not been very strict. You can get away with it, but it's something I would highly recommend to be careful about. There is a dress code though. They expect you to wear black and white to college. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a white shirt or black trousers. It doesn't have to be formals. It could be for girls. It could be a churidar. It could be a salwar. It could be black pants with a modest formal, semi-formal white top to go with it. For boys, it's standard black pants and a black shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they could also boys could also choose to wear kurtas if they want to.
Okay, so but then formals, like Indian formals or Western formals?
Yeah. Or you could take it a step further. People do come to college in say black jeans or just like a white top. So you can at the end of the day to make sure it's like black and white.
You can kind of take leverage. Okay. So my next question would be, what can a law student expect from this institution with respect to the mooting culture and the internship cell?
So the mooting culture is very, very prevalent in our college. I mean, a lot of importance is given to it from the very first year. I mean, if in fact, very first semester that a student attends. So, you know how you have all of these external moots that keep happening that different colleges are organizing. So, in order to select somebody for the moot from second through fifth year and second and third year of the LLB course, they have a central moot elimination thing. So basically, we have a moot. We have a body in college that is only. It's called the mooting society, and this is what they do. So they organize the centralized moot thing. They frame your problem. So everybody who's interested in attending external moots or representing college sits for that moot. Then you have oral rounds and pleadings between everybody. They give you random fixtures. Depending on that, they give you ranks and you can bid for external moots. But the first years, they make it a little easier, like maybe in some subject as an internal to introduce them to the mooting culture. They do have an internal moot for the first years. And they have a whole different set of moots allocated only for the first years, keeping in mind that, you know, the first years are new and they may not be used to a lot of competition in the
There was some
mooting.
disturbance. 1 minute. I would request Ankit to kindly mute himself. Ankit, please mute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. I'm really sorry for the disturbance, though. You can continue.
It's fine. So the mooting culture is very prevalent. So if somebody's into it, you'll get tons of opportunities to moot.
That is indeed a very good thing. And what about the extracurricular activities like student organization, law journals, and everything?
So we have a multi. So the extracurricular activities also, for every single extracurricular activity, you have a different cell. So there'll be a dance team, there'll be a music team, there'll be a sports cell. There's an entrepreneurship cell, there's a human rights cell. So these are all extracurricular activities where, you know, they organize events or they have discussions or meetings where they discuss, deliberate. So you can choose your preference, whatever floats your boat. You have a lot of options. It's not just academic. If you're into sports, you have sports. If you're into dance, you have dance. So you have a lot of options that way. I mean, I don't think it is possible. I don't think there's like a single interest that I can think of that will not have a club or a cell in college for you to be a part of. Yeah.
Okay, that is okay. We have a question. I would like to tell the participants that we'll be taking the questions towards the end of the session. So you can just leave your questions in the chat box, and we'll be taking it towards the end. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. Yeah. So my next,
no problem.
Did I ask you about internship cells?
Yes, you did. So we have a placement cell which essentially looks over all the internships and the placements.
Yeah.
So it is not. I'll tell you upright that it is not guaranteed that everybody is going to get an internship or a placement through the placement cell. I mean, I should be very clear about that. So what happens with these internships are when organizations or firms approach our college saying, you know, we're looking for so many interns. The college will send out an email to every student along with, say, all the requirements that the firm has asked for. And then you turn in your CVs, and then maybe there's going to be a round of interviews depending on what the preferences of the internship or the organization where that's looking for interns.
Okay.
So depending on, it's quite competitive.
Yeah.
So in order to secure an internship through the placement cell is actually not so easy. You have to be a little meritorious. So it is a competitive environment for sure.
Okay.
In terms of securing internships through the placement cell.
Yeah, correct, absolutely. So my next question is, what is the faculty size of the institution, and what is the quality of the teachers, and what is the student-teacher ratio?
Okay, so I do not have an answer to the exact number of teachers or professors that we have. If I had to guess, it'd be somewhere maybe around, say, 50, somewhere maybe between 40 to 50. But I can tell you that very rarely are there professors who teach multiple subjects.
Okay.
So usually professors teach specific subjects. There are very few, maybe I can think of like one or two professors who might, you know, be taking up two different subjects in, say, two different batches and teaching them. Otherwise, they're pretty much specialized in their areas of subjects.
All right.
And so in a class there are maybe say 60 students. So I'd say like the ratio would be like maybe like 1:60,
Okay, fine.
roughly. Like on an average, it'd be like a little more, a little less.
So are the teachers friendly and are they approachable enough for students?
Yes, they are. They are. That I have actually. I mean, barring a few couple of professors here
Yeah.
and there, usually mostly I haven't faced an issue with anybody. They're pretty approachable
Overall, yeah.
and friendly. Yeah.
Okay. What are the facilities available for students for researching and how accessible are they?
Okay. So if you're talking in terms of so we get access to a lot of legal databases.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of legal databases that SLS Pune itself has subscribed to, and there are a lot of other research and academic publications that Symbiosis International University has centrally subscribed to. So as a student, you get access to all of these. So I mean, you get access to at least somewhere around 20 legal databases
Okay, that
for
is
research purposes.
like
Yeah,
research.
and you get full access to these. Yeah, and I mean you can use them. College will grant you like they'll grant you access to it, so you can use it from outside of college as well, like if you're at home or if in the hostel, etc.
That I think is very important because a lot of colleges give
Yeah.
on-campus access, so that becomes a kind of a thing. Also, what about the library and what are the quantity or number of copies of books? How would you rate that?
So the library is pretty well stocked. Now genuinely have like a really great collection of books, but some books I have seen. I mean, we would prefer if there were a little more copies in the library, but some of the really expensive or the really sought after books come in like 1 copies. But in terms of say moot research, etc., it's not a problem, because if you're doing research, there's a separate concept of having a mooter's card in the library that allows you to check out more books than usual and for longer periods of time. And we have a reading hall. There's something called a Gyan Gallery that we have. It's essentially linked to an event called Gyan Darshan that happens once a week, where one senior student from say either a current 4th year or a current 5th year would have like an informative session about say a particular contemporary topic that has come up in the news, or maybe some decent judgment that's come out, or something that's relevant and might be interesting in the given time. So there's a specific area built out for having those Gyan Darshans, but you can use that area otherwise, which people mostly do to like study or read. Apart from that, you have like the computer lab, you have a reading hall, which is open till about 8, 9 during, I mean, peak mood season. It's open all night. During exams, it's open all night.
So from what I assess, I think it is indeed a very interactive and wholesome environment for students with whatever conversation we had had. And my next question is in retrospect, I think, and it is very important, not only for law students, but for students in general. How is the social and mental well-being of students in this institution? And what is the life on campus and off campus? How is it?
So life on campus, I can assure you're never going to get bored, ever. I mean, there's not going to be a single day where you'll be like, oh, what do I do with my time today? But you'll always have like a multitude of events to choose from that's happening. Somewhere on campus, something will be happening, which you can always go and join. So on campus, I think it's very difficult to get bored. Off campus, I mean, in terms of the locality, it's pretty great for those who like food. You have a lot of food options around college, a lot.
Yes.
For, I guess, being in Pune for college helps, because Pune has a lot of, historical significance for those who are maybe say into history. But then not everybody's into history. So there are a lot of takeries and little hills or forts in and around Pune.
Basically, recreational activities are available.
Yeah.
On campus.
Yeah. So you can you can go for treks or hikes on your weekends or early in the morning, whatever suits you. So I mean, off campus also there's an endless list of things that you can keep yourself occupied
Multitude of things. Okay. So,
with. Yeah.
could you tell me something about the networking opportunities? Is there like a network of students, like a student organization which pushes students towards networking with other colleges, with other students of other colleges or lawyers, for example, networking basically.
Okay, so we don't have a specific body aimed only for this, but we do have an alumni cell that makes it a point. So say all the students that have graduated and say over the past several years, so maybe they've been working for, I don't know, 15 years, 16 years, or maybe they've just graduated 5-6 years ago. In either case, they keep bringing these students back to either take guest lectures or to, talk to students, give them insight into possible work opportunities after college, outside of college, stuff like that. So you do get to meet a lot of these people. So the moot that I mentioned earlier, that we have the centralized moot elimination system. So that itself, so the judges who show up are usually alumni from our college, or other lawyers or pertinent practitioners from within Pune or say close by from maybe say Mumbai. From Mumbai, we get like a lot of great lawyers who come in and agree to say judge the parliamentary debates or the moots. So you do, and you do have like a lot of opportunities to interact with them, because they're always more than happy to step aside and speak to you, say after the lecture is over or after the session is over. For the student council, if you are a part of say the hospitality team or something, so when a judge from outside will show up, or a judge or a guest from outside shows up, you get the opportunity to say handle his accommodation, handle his travel, escort him from one place to another, and that often that can be like a great opportunity to talk to them informally, get some networking going. So I mean, if you try going to a student council, I mean, I guess that's a pro.
I mean, yeah, law students will understand how, what is the feeling when you're meeting, an esteemed judge or a lawyer, or you from you are the representative of the
Right.
that is good. Yeah. And are there like counselors available on campus for like mental health or something like that?
Yes, there are. So we have, I mean, there's this thing called Symbiosis Center for Health. And so that is basically your primary, so there's a separate establishment on campus where you have a doctor available every day. There's a dentist, there'll be a general physician. If you have any specific problem, if you have a fever or something, you can go, they'll prescribe you medicines, they'll do a quick checkup.
Like with respect to mental health itself, I am...
Yes, you have counselors there as well. So I mean, they are available, different counselors sit on different days of the week. So if you book an appointment with them, you can go and see them.
This brings me to my next point, is that student friendliness is actually a very important thing. Like when when the management or the non-teaching staff is there to help the students. So how is that at your institution?
Honestly, non-teaching staff has been more helpful to me in my college life than teaching staff. They are extremely friendly. I mean, whether it's Tushar Bhaiya at the canteen, or Jimmy Bhaiya at the canteen, or Mahesh sir at the administration office. I mean, they're all extremely, extremely helpful. And one of the pros I've seen is most of these office administrators are not very old. They're a little young. So, I mean, so it's easy to get along with them. They're always laughing and joking. Over a period of time, they recognize you. So when you walk by the corridor, somebody will be like, hey, what's up? What's happening? Yeah.
So to the participants, if any of you get into SNS Pune, we can say Jimmy Bhaiya and, sorry, can you get me the name again?
Mahesh sir in the administration office.
And all these people, you can go and say that I've heard about you off campus. I've come here to meet you. The alumni has told me that you guys are really great. So I'm just looking forward to chatting with you. Okay. So on that note, I would like to ask my last question to you is, would you recommend this institution to others? Number one. And number two is, what are the possible demerits of being admitted here?
So I mean, of course, it does come with, there are cons to the institution, say its management, etc., etc. But I still would recommend it for the sole purpose that, so I found college to motivate me to want to do multiple things. because it's such a competitive environment, whether it is sports, whether it's moot, whether it's dancing, whether it's parliamentary debating, whether it's music, whether it's human rights related, whether you want to hone your business skills,
Yeah.
whatever your choice of extracurricular is, it's very I mean, the community is very strongly built because there are a lot of people who are really passionate about these things, who run these cells and events. So even if you don't participate, say in college, just watching so many people wanting to participate in something sort of tends to push you a little more to do something
Yeah, and
and interact with people.
People
Yeah,
also develop themselves mentally and socially. They can, like, just like being with a bunch of students who are themselves so interactive and so active. I think that is such a big plus point. And this is also so underrated. We also don't understand the importance of being in a competitive environment. And I think the point
Yeah.
that you have put out here, it is so great. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So, and the demerits, I would say, is there is a fair bit of, say, mismanagement. For example, I mean, if your class gets cancelled, you're probably going to find out about it 5 minutes before your class. So, if you woke up at 8 o'clock and you were going to attend the 9 o'clock class, it is very likely that at 8:50 they're going to tell you you have no class and you lost out on sleep. So that's going to be annoying. But this used to happen a lot towards the beginning. They've resolved most of these issues, but they still happen.
Okay. Yeah.
Another challenge I've generally faced is with getting information from the college. So they're not very clear in their communication all the time because most of the communication comes from the office administrators.
Okay.
So a lot of the communication comes with like errors, and then 2 minutes later you'll get a fresh email saying, oh no, sorry, ignore the previous email. There was like a bunch of typos in it or something. So, when you're strapped on time, things like this get a little annoying.
They can get.
But but besides that, there's not like a lot of cons to it. I would actually recommend that once if you end up joining, you find a professor or you find a mentor for yourself, whoever you like, whoever you get along with, etc. And that person can be like guiding you through it. And in general, most people are approachable.
Yeah.
So once you get there, different people get along with different people. Somebody who I found approachable need not necessarily be approachable to you, etc. But really, it's not a grim situation. I mean, you'll manage. It's not too bad.
Even my assessment was that from our conversation, I feel that overall, I think it is a very holistic development kind of a thing for students, and it is even after chatting with you, I might as well recommend somebody to please go to SLS Pune. All right. So
one thing which I forgot to mention is there is horrible internet network connectivity in Viman Nagar. So it's located in Viman Nagar, and the network connectivity is horrible. Like it's close to zero. So in college, you're dependent on college Wi-Fi mostly because if you want to text during class, you can't because they have blocked WhatsApp on the college Wi-Fi, and Airtel and Vodafone will not give you any network coverage within college. So, but you can.
when they
you can use a VPN. You didn't hear this from me, but you can, and you can get by.
Yeah. So
that's one downside because I've realized, because I've spent a lot of days when my parents or my friends have desperately been trying to get through to me, but they can't because I'm not actually getting any calls or anything.
Okay. So can we we have like 1 or 2 questions, I feel.
Yeah, sure.
1 minute, I'll just Somebody is asking what SLS Pune asks in a PI. I don't know if that is
so
for you to answer.
I've gotten I'll tell you from my experience. My PI was essentially, they asked me nothing to do with the law. They asked me no legal questions, no academic questions. They took a look at the extracurriculars and co-curriculars that I did in school. They asked me questions about my likes, dislikes, hobbies, etc. And that's it actually.
Okay.
But I was speaking to this other student earlier who had also approached me regarding questions for about how college is, etc. So while talking to him, I realized that he knows a bunch of people where they faced that some people have been rigorously questioned on legal issues, or like they don't look for technical answers really. They just look for whether you're inclined to do
Whether, yeah.
law.
Mm.
Just go with a prepared answer for why you want to study law. Like go with a prepared answer for that for sure.
I'm sure the participants will benefit from that. The next question is,
Yeah.
how many seats are there for SLS Pune?
So that varies. I'm pretty sure that the student intake right now is not the same student intake that was there when I joined college. When I joined, there were 300 seats. Out of 300, say it was divided into BA and BBA LLB.
Okay.
So maybe say 150 kids in each, 150 kids for BA, 150 kids for BBA. But as far as I'm aware, the student intake has increased, and I think this number will be very easily available to you on the college
Yeah,
website
actually,
as to
all
how-
of these, yeah.
as to how many seats are available. Yeah,
Yeah, so it was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for being here with us today.
no problem.
Yes, I'll.
Okay. Be sure everybody who is attending, if you have any more questions, like you can reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer them. So if you have questions, you can let them know. They'll let me know.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll be ending the meeting, Indrani, and thank you for being here with us. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye. Have a good night.